Second.
All right. We'll call this meeting to order this morning. We do have a quorum. Mr. Elrod, if you lead us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this fine day. I want to keep a prayer in there for rain. Definitely sure needs some. Help watch over all the folks that have to work out in extreme heat and take care of them. Help us make good decisions for our county and just keep peace in the county. Jesus Christ, I pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any public comments from anybody? Hearing none, we will move on.
Good morning, Judge.
Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you?
Morning, good.
I'm John Luna. I'm with Crown Correctional Telephone and Sterling Commissary. We currently provide the inmate telephone communication for the county jail, as well as the commissary contract. We went ahead and renewed the commissary contract, which isn't required to be ratified through Commissioner's Court. The sheriff went ahead and signed that back in June. Got that taken care of. But next month, you guys will see on your agenda the communications contract. Somehow it wasn't placed on this month's agenda, but I just want to give you guys a little bit of information about what we are. We're based out of Sterling, out of Clifton, Texas, which is right south of Waco. We've had you guys' account for a while now, and we're working with you guys' IT department to get some new things going on in perfecting our video visitation, video magistration, and biometrics, things like that will help our law enforcement officials easily research and go through certain cases and telephone calls and things like that without having to sit through hours and hours of telephone conversations. So I just want to let you guys know who we were. We've serviced you guys for a long time. These contracts are good for 5 years, and we're up on the next agenda to go ahead and get that process. I just left it with the young lady over in the other office so that way you guys will have it. We were able to increase commission percentages for the county jail, so that way we make certain that you guys are making as much money as possible off of this. Of course, it's no cost to you guys whatsoever. So I know as commissioners and county judges, that's a good thing for you guys. But just want to let you guys know who we were, who we're with, and hopefully we'll be on next month's agenda and make certain that we get that taken care of. So just want to let you guys know who we were. Thank you, guys.
Senior citizens,
We'll give an update on the senior citizens. They're supposed to come tomorrow or today if they make it in time to cut the tree. Their chipper broke down, so they haven't been able to get here. Then on Tuesday, the roof people are supposed to be here to start on the roof for the senior citizens.
thanks. County Treasurer.
I guess I'm it. After bank checks and reconciliations, county funds ended at $6,867,964.82. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Parks, County Auditor.
Yes, the commissioner should have received an invoice file listing with all the bills for this month. Are there any questions or any mistakes, anything that needs to be corrected? Don't have anything?
All right, law enforcement, Sheriff Ford.
This morning we found 10 in the jail, 9 active physically in there, with 1 to be transferred to the health facility. That means that all the Tom Green County inmates were full Friday. So that means we're minus the work crew, we've done all the long-term cleanup projects around. I'm anticipating before probably beginning next month that we'll probably have some Tom Green County inmates back.
Thank you, that's all I have on the consent agenda. Entertain motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous pass, motion carries. New business, conflict of interest, Ms. Baldwin.
No conflict of interest bills, Judge.
Budget amendment, line item transfer.
Yes, I do have the budget amendments in there from last court, and we just made them official, so I'm happy to put them in the records. when the sheriff came in and asked for, the plumbing, to be renewed, or more money in his plumbing from the ARP funds. We've got that budget amendments, and then the computer software and maintenance, to cover the Ecologic for the next 3 or 4 months. And then the tree removal for Amelia, and then the, Badger, the repairs for the, law enforcement again. So that's what those are from last night, I'm just make it official.
It's a pleasure of the court.
Make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Have a motion second, all in favor? Unanimous, passed. Motion carries. Burn ban,
Leave it on.
I agree.
no motion necessary. Special revenue, Margaret?
Yes, we have a special revenue or that I need to certify for precinct 1. He got some money for the road crossings, $2,450 for County Road 129 for the pipeline income. Then I have one for precinct 2, $2,400 for County Road 208 pipeline income. And then for precinct 3, I have $2,500 from Spray Midstream for County Road 324, $2,500 for County Road 253, and $4,600 for County Road 353 pipeline income.
What are you talking about, precinct 2?
Pipeline crossing.
Yeah, the
Got some
pipeline
money for the
income
pipeline
goes into your
crossing.
income.
Raspberry is where they cross, not
It's your county road.
the 208.
280 is what I have written down.
Oh, I thought you said 208, you got 280.
Those are the only ones I have.
But you said precinct 2.
Yes.
Y'all
There's
all
precinct
three had
1.
one. I didn't have one, I was the only one that didn't have.
Have a motion,
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second it.
all in favor? Passed. Motion carries. Item number 6, discuss and approve oil and gas lease through Norwood Land, and it goes through precinct 3. And I don't know, it's not a big deal, Preston, are you aware of that?
I have just seen it on the agenda, but, did we not receive one for our rodeo grounds up there? That should have been in the same pool, wasn't it?
This is the only one we've got. We got almost everybody in town, and, this one goes through yours. I think it's done on a per acre deal. You're welcome to look at it if you want to. It's not a,
Yeah,
not
I think,
amazing.
I think it's pretty much what they're offering everybody in general.
There you go.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion, second, all in favor? Unanimous, passed, motion carries. Okay, item number 7 is, just an annual deal we do to appoint Dr. Melinda Powers for the County Health Authority. And I've got the paperwork here to sign if that's good with you guys.
I'll make the motion to approve it.
I'll second.
All in favor? Unanimous, passed. Motion carries. Item number 8, discuss and approve 29,150 to Goldsmith for implementation of the new and existing software previously approved by this court, Sheriff Court.
Good news and the bad news, the court y'all approved a number of contracts last month on life checks, Stellar Commissary, visitation, which is Crown, and Sterling, bring the jail up to standards. You asked the question, what was the cost of hardware? We didn't know at that particular time, so we had Goldsmith come through and he gave, there should be a breakdown of exactly what the cost is to bring up our, basically, our system to where it can handle what they have. So it came up to $29,150. The good thing about that, that is not a line item, budget item, so this qualifies for ARP funds. Since we don't have, it's not really maintenance of anything that we have, it's addition so that we can end up getting these systems up into working, as you heard from Crown just a few minutes ago.
Sheriff, Keith Owens called me on Friday, and that quote was just an estimate, give or take, unless he has to add something or take away something, that's just what he gave us. It's not gonna be that exact amount.
The vast majority goes up to our Wi-Fi system. Basically, you have one quarter, it doesn't have any Wi-Fi in it. The Wi-Fi on the outside where you're supposed to be downloading hadn't worked in some period of time. But like I said, this all qualifies for ARP funds since it's not a line item that we generally maintain. It's a new improved system for improved infrastructure for the jail.
Pleasure of the court.
I think we need to see something. I'm not gonna say this, I'm gonna prove something if you just give or take. Because take could be a lot more than 29, or it could be a lot less.
Yeah, I think there's a breakdown in your, there should be a breakdown in your folders about what all exactly it is. That's pretty close, but whatever it is, and we'll certainly come back to y'all for approval additional, but it is qualifying for ARP funds. In other words, we can take it out of that money that, rather than just county funds.
How much money do we have left in that ARP fund?
530,681.50.
530, 681.
Hundred what? 105,000?
No, 500.
So, part of that we spent on that water line, right?
Yes,
So it's already been deducted from this or no?
yes, it has, that's what the remaining funds are.
I guess we can table this till we get in our budget meeting after this, can't we, and revisit it, or?
Look what this deal is here.
Yes, sir.
What we're-
Yes, we can table it, but we can't come back to it, we'll have to put it on next time.
That place turned into a money pit.
Mhm.
Nothing coming back.
Well, seeing it shut down for 2 years, and we had to basically start from scratch. Systems have sat there for a while, things have been neglected in maintenance. You're gonna have to have those costs. When you start putting 10, 15 people in there a day and start using that system, it's gonna have some breakdowns, which was fully anticipated. So, are we on the high side of what the costs are right now? You betcha. But by the time we get the electrical straightened out, the plumbing straightened out, the water system straightened out, this straightened out, I think next year we'll have a good operating figure. Can I promise you everything's gonna go down? Heck no, because I don't know what the electrical cost is, I don't know what fuel costs are gonna be, because those are going through the roof. Food costs are going through the roof.
Are you full staff right now?
No, sir. I'm still short a deputy, and I'm fixing to be, when I get another one graduated in August, I'll be then short in the jail staff.
You are short of jail staff also, or you will be?
I will be. Right now, we're right at just staff numbers, yes, sir. We're not in patrol.
Data cabling additions, 40 of them. Is that just where they cook?
Basically, it's the Wi-Fi system and all the hardware that goes with that.
40 of them. I make a motion to table it. I'd like to see what you got. When you get over where you can explain it to me.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, because they offered, is Goldsmith offered to come, and said, no, it's pretty much a simple deal, but we'll have them come next time if that's what you want. Hear directly from Sam and them. Would that be better?
I'm gonna second Dexter's motion, let's table this thing till we get a little more information on it.
Have a motion, and a second, all in favor, unanimous, Item number 9, discuss approved temporary water line, County Road 343, we have someone, here you are.
Yes, sir.
Good
Your Honor.
morning.
My name is Gus Blunt, and I am here on behalf of Arrington Oil and Gas. And what we're trying to do is get an approval for a, excuse me, 1 10-inch above ground temporary water line. It'll be approximately 9 miles, and it'll be used mid-August, early September. And this would be for for County Roads 343 and 346. TxDOT would be approving the Farm Road 3205 and Farm Road 611.
How are y'all planning on crossing our county roads with this line, 10-inch line?
So we plan to go north from Browning's Pond on 343, and then take a little detour east underneath the culvert. And then I've spoken with Ricky Williams about, about possibly going behind his house, and then along 611, and then due north on 3205 up to 346, which is, will go east to the unit.
On this map, it shows that you have another route on this thing also. There's two different projects going on, or?
No, sir, it's the same project. We have not secured all easements along the road yet, so I guess it might be a little misleading on there as far as going behind Mr. Williams' house.
Well, one of the problems I've had with y'all crossing my roads or the county roads is, well, a lot of times they'll cut them, you know, to bury that line, or they put a big old hump, you know, one of the metal deals over it where people can cross over it.
Mhm.
You know, and me and Commissioner Stewart have went to Scurvy County and talked to their commissioners, you know, how their permitting process is and all this, and they're requiring oil field companies to put culverts in, and, you know, put them through the culverts instead of just continuously cutting our roads, you know. Where they've cut them in the past, you know, they might just throw a little dirt back on top of them, and you got a big old sink spot in your road where you cross it. And if they don't come back and put some material on it, you know, it's just another burden on the county. So, with y'all plans to go use existing culverts, or y'all gonna put us some new culverts in, or y'all gonna come back and put some material on top of these spots that y'all cut the road?
So I believe anytime there's a culvert in place, we're gonna try to utilize that. If there's not a culvert in place, we'll put one in if that's what y'all would require. And we're fine with doing that. And then once we're done, when we go back, we can level out the ground to y'all's specifications.
You know, that's what I have been requiring. If we don't have existing culvert there, is put a culvert in there, you know, and in a spot that would be beneficial for the county, you know.
Okay.
And then covering it back up with at least a foot, 6 inches to a foot of bleaching or something, you know.
Okay. That's fine, we can definitely do that.
If we can get something like that in place, I don't have a problem with it. I know this has put a lot of extra burden on precinct 3, covering up all these lines and come back and fixing the lines and everything else, and I gotta have some help with some of this.
So would y'all like permanent culverts put in?
Well, I'd really like y'all to meet with me or whatever commissioner precincts are going through, and let us look at where you're gonna cross the roads at. Some places, I don't want a culvert, just don't make sense, and other places do. Like if you're gonna go right on top of a hill, when a culvert would work a couple hundred more yards down where water actually could travel through the culvert, you know, when the pipeline removed, it would benefit the county too, you know.
Okay.
So I would like to just, before y'all put it in, to give us a map, proposed map, and we'll go out there and meet with whoever who's putting it in, and we'll decide where we would like the culverts, you know.
Absolutely. That's not a problem at all.
Your Honor, may I chime in here? Have you approached the landowners about paying them for a temporary easement?
Yes, sir.
And you just can't get it done, so you wanna do it free with the county? Is that?
No, we wanted to use the county's right of way to go along the sides of the county roads, but we're definitely gonna engage all the owners that have easements necessary to secure before we do this.
It's you guys' decision, but I would sure prefer those landowners along there be paid, you know, as opposed to using our land for free. Just a proposal and a thought for me.
Well, I agree, if anywhere you can use it, but there is some instances where the landowner's not gonna let them, we don't wanna stop progress just because the landowner won't let them. You know, go through the property, you know, we won't go in Fisher County, definitely, it's helping the county tremendously and some people in it, so. I think we can work with you on this, as long as y'all work with us and let us know where you're gonna put it, and just don't go out there and start cutting the roads without talking to the commissioner of that precinct, you know?
Absolutely. We can put together, like you said, a final plat, and I'll meet with you and get that approved from you before we do anything.
Yeah, if we can do that, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion second, all in favor?
Okay, sorry, who seconded it?
I said it, but my mind was
Okay.
driving. I don't know if anybody heard it.
Okay, right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blunt.
Thank you.
Item number 10, tax employees health insurance report.
All right, do the fun stuff, yay. The tax health insurance, no changes to the type of plan on the health insurance. However, they're going with an increase of 2.5% to our health rates. The dental plan's got a drop of 0.8%. The life and the vision plans basically stay the same. The vision plan will have some changes to it with lower copays, which is helpful to any of us that wear glasses or contacts. So other than that, that's the only change, is the rates changing. It'll cost the county $895.78 per employee. With right now we're carrying an average of 38 employees on the plan, and with an average monthly bill of $34,039. And that is my proposal for the upcoming fiscal year. No changes, stick with tax health insurance.
Any discussion from the court? I have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'm gonna second it.
Have a motion second, all in favor? Unanimous, motion carried. Item number 11, TCDRS retirement renewal.
Okay, same thing, staying with TCDRS for our retirement. We've been with them since 1974. It's gonna have a small drop on the group term life rate. I'm being told that's due to right now, currently our average employee is 49. And that's with an assumed wage inflation component of 3% per year. Our current retirees are outliving the 75. Just a note, we currently have $6,171,256 in our retirement plan as an asset, with currently 196 members. Of those 196 members, 68 are contributing, which would be the employees currently. We have 51 retirees drawing on the plan, and 10 beneficiaries drawing on the plan. The remaining 67 are former employees who have left their accounts with the county. And so that's my recommendation, no changes to the plan, other than the small decrease to the group term life.
Do we know, are we funding that plenty? There should be a breakout every year of what we're putting in and what
Yes,
their
right
investments
now,
are.
we are deducting for the employees 7%, and the county's matching that 150%, for a total, elected rate of 8.23. That's the way that we're doing that, that includes the group term life rate.
No, I understand that, but as the years go and their investments are higher or lower, we have X amount we have to be contributing.
We are in perfect shape, we are well above where the suggested rate is of 6.74, and we're doing the 8, so
So we're funding it okay.
yes,
No reason I bring that
we're
up.
actually overfunding, and we're in excellent shape.
Okay. The reason I bring that up, I'm on the budget committee for the COG, and you gotta look at all those numbers, because if their investments aren't good, we're underfunded, no matter what we're putting in. I just wanna make sure it's all equal.
Right, yes, sir.
Pleasure of the court on retirement.
I'll make the motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Unanimous, motion carried. Item number 12, discuss IT service plan from CTSI for next year's budget. Who do we have here? A familiar face.
This older year. Morning, court. So,
we've grown a little bit with CTSI over the past couple of years, and we've opened up a Midland, Odessa office, so I'm kind of spearheading that. Ray Bertrand is a new team member of ours, so he's gonna kind of be taking over this geo. We came this morning because we were just curious, how everything was going, and if the court was interested in re-engaging with CTSI for the next budget year of what we discussed last year. At any point. Commissioners? No, last year, we don't have anything prepared as of today, just before we went and spun our wheels on everything, what you guys thought. I know from last year, we were considerably less expensive from what you had been paying. We thought we could still provide a great level of service for you guys.
It's like bidding it, right? It's bidding like Goldsmith has got it.
Yes, sir.
And I remember y'all being quite a bit cheaper than Goldsmith.
Well, so we're part of Text Buy Purchasing Co-op now. I think that's been a change since last year. It's a free purchasing co-op for any county government to join. With that, usually you can avoid a bid process, but I know best practice usually is to go get 3 bids. That's usually what counties want to do. With that purchasing co-op, we've seen it be really beneficial. Anything over 50,000, you don't really have to bid through that process anymore. Some people still want to do it, but the more you spend with CTSI in general, project-based, not only just projects, but our monthly service also counts underneath that Text Buy Purchasing Co-op. So, if you're spending, I think it was roughly $5,500 a month, which is what our proposal was for your IT services, that every dollar counts towards that purchasing co-op. So the more it goes up, the more money you get back. It goes straight back in the general fund or whatever fund you want to put it into at the end of the year. Usually, our rep with Text Buy will come hand deliver it to court. Is what he's done in the past sometimes. So that's an added benefit to the county. But outside of that, we're still great at what we do. Outside of joining that purchasing co-op, we have joined Buy Board as well. So, we have those 2 options. We've seen Text Buy being a little bit more effective at our reporting for it. We do all the reporting for everything that we do on it. So it's not an added burden to Becky or anybody with Fisher County. So, any questions though? I know we talked a lot. This was like a 2 or 3 month process last year. You guys decided to stay with what you had, partly I think because I needed some upfront project work and just familiarity with Goldsmith. But we work with over 20 counties now throughout the area. Our technician team is still growing, so.
Just a little bit about me.
Yeah.
Just met a few of y'all this morning. Judge, I hadn't met you yet, so it's good to meet you. But I've been in this industry for 33 years and dealt with a lot of counties and also I'm through this county all the time. Out of Pinto, back and forth with some different clients. So we're definitely here. We're available. Anything that we give you, like if we do give you a quote on a project, we're going to be very thorough. It might take a little bit longer to do that, but the time we invest in being thorough, we're going to give you a proposal, an estimate that's going to be pretty accurate, and we don't want any surprises. We don't want you to have any surprises. So it would be, we would just love to have another opportunity to show you our numbers and see what we can do for you. Just go from there.
So we just thought coming here today, we'd come and talk to you guys about if you wanted us to re-engage. Our time is free to the county, of course, but before we put a ton of work into putting together a plan like last year, we just wanted to see if that was something y'all even wanted to do. And if y'all want to at all, even if it's still a no at the end of this thing, we'd love to have a chance to earn y'all's business again.
I think it's a good deal. If we can save money, we need to save the county money, all the money we can save them.
I remember from my proposal from last year, over 5 years, just off the monthly services, it was upwards of $200,000 different in your monthly expense. So things have changed since then. We've added new standards with new threats out there with ransomware, especially with Ukraine and all that. So we've kind of increased some of our security threshold, but I don't think the monthly will be that different from what we had proposed last year. And we want to earn your business, but we want to make it priced right, so we don't have them come back a year later and say, hey, we priced it, at this. So We don't have contracts. You know, I think that's something we talked about, you know, 60-day notice, you can move on, right? This is your network. We want to be your partner, not your vendor. So, and we've done that for a ton of city governments, county governments. You know, we've been working with Yoakum County for 20 years doing their IT. So when we get in with somebody, we really try to do a good job, build relationships with, you know, your employees, with your core, so.
Do you happen to have a list of counties around here?
Oh, yeah.
I can provide you a complete list.
I would like to see a proposal, I don't know about the rest.
I'd like to see him come to my office and see what all I have.
Yes, ma'am.
We
Yeah.
we can come to every office.
That's what I was just to say too.
Yes.
I don't think y'all went office to office last time.
Had
And
no
Yes, I think
idea.
that was part of the problem.
To get an apples to apples comparison of what,
Yeah.
to make it fair.
Yeah, it would be very hard. I know the commissioners are over the budget, but, they have nothing to do with the software or the internet in this place, or the day-to-day business of taking care of our customers.
Yes, ma'am. And we have a ton of experience with most of the county software. You know, with all the different counties we work with. We have, you know, Andrews County west and south, and then we work with Palo Pinto in the east. So you kind of, you know, depending on the area and who's around them, they all use different software. Some of them use LGS, or I heard Cologix mentioned. We're
Probably
familiar
my
with that.
office has the most software in it, because
Yes,
I deal with so many different things in my office.
My clerk's
So-
offices in Andrews County are usually the ones that have the, you know, most help needed. I'll say that.
Yeah.
You got so many different things they use with court reportings, recordings, you know, trials, all that.
How's this gonna affect the things we've already got started in our sheriff office with Goldsmith, Sheriff?
That's what I wanna know, we're already knee deep with Goldsmith, as far as changing our RMS, our JMS, and with the Sterling and commissary and all that stuff there, we've already got plans going out, how's it gonna affect that?
Those
We've already
back
dumped
ones.
money into them already for this year.
So typically when we see transitions from one software to another, you usually have a lot of help from the actual software companies.
Well, see, we're going from Cologix to Goldsmith now, and so, and.
You're going from, I thought, based off, I was looking at Agenda.
No, we're firing Cologix because they're terrible.
Right.
Justice Solutions.
Justice Solutions.
And we have no cooperation whatsoever from Cologix.
Okay.
It's been Goldsmith that's actually been one kind of get it going.
Yeah.
And keep it going.
So-
So it's gonna set us back basically for a long period of time.
What I would say he's acting as is kind of your IT director, which is what his role is for you guys, right? Really, the transition happens between the two companies. We can facilitate the transition, but it's still going from their software to Justice Solutions software. And Cologix is in the cloud, correct? So most of that data is in their data center, not even on y'all's hardware. So it's just migrating that from whatever, if y'all went cloud with Justice Solutions, or if you went on-prem with the server that hopefully you own. Or if you bought from Justice Solutions, included that in the software package. But most likely you bought software transition support from both Cologix and Justice Solutions. So really he's acting as just a mediator between the two. And our technicians would help with migrating or setting up whatever server you need.
Well, see, Goldsmith has already started that process as far as taking all of our stuff from Cologix and going into what they're putting in the Wi-Fi receivers now, and running the 40 cables down. We've already spent money with Goldsmith to do all this stuff, so if we don't go with Goldsmith and go with you guys, where does that money go?
See, that's what we need to probably come in and look at. We need to look at where you're at in the process, what you need, what Justice Solutions is telling you to need. This is why we wanted to come to court before we came with numbers, so that we make sure we don't miss anything. We've done these migrations for, years, so.
They're not offering a software solution, are they? They're just helping you with the migration, the transition to a different vendor, is that correct?
Yes, but they're the only ones got anything going forward because, like I said, Cologix has been terrible in resisting the whole particular way.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah. And so as far as the infrastructure goes,
the infrastructure is what we're talking about just now, the wireless system, all that will all be set back until we're able to get those.
So your jail is not big enough to need 40 wireless access points. That,
Basically replacing the whole system because it hasn't had any maintenance done on it since it was built in 2014.
okay.
And when we went through there with their tester, because we're getting the life check, inmate cell check,
Okay.
and that goes to the cloud, and unless you have a Wi-Fi receiver, we can't use that inmate check system. So now he has to come in and put different ones, plus we're moving officers too. So there's, the 40 drops that he's talking about includes all of that. It includes
Okay.
Wi-Fi receivers coming down for the offices, the Wi-Fi receivers coming in from the new kiosk and the new visitation. Goldsmiths to take care of all that.
So
Basically, you would need to come see before we start talking about.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This system over here has not been maintained, it's
Yes.
well outdated, and we're making a lot of changes that require a lot of.
Yeah. And I guess my point would be, he's been your IT vendor since then.
Who has?
Goldsmith, correct? It's not a new relationship.
No, it's not.
No.
So I would, you know, we would just need to come out, and you haven't approved it yet for that piece, that's the infrastructure piece. We can give you a quote on that too. That's the infrastructure, depending on what you wanna do with that, we can have a quote for you.
Yeah.
The software part of it, you know, we can help where we can, but that's pretty specialized.
Software part's been worked out, so it's.
Okay, that's good, that's good. The infrastructure part, any company like ours can come in and do that infrastructure. They might be putting in different equipment that they like to put in and their techs like to manage. We have our own. We do have an inside sales team that works hard to make sure we find stuff that's in stock.
Right now, it's based off availability, really, is
Yeah.
what's the best product available that our technicians are best at managing, that's also gonna give you a good client experience that you can also take with you. We don't wanna give you anything that you can't move on and somebody else can manage. But right now, availability is, I'm sure y'all know with everything else, it's hard to get something that's available. So that would be something that we would wanna make sure we're quoting for you guys, since it seems like you need it now. That's something that is
We've
available.
got the system set up and ready to go, we just can't use the system until we get the Wi-Fi receivers put in.
Yeah, and so that's part of why we wanted to come out today. We wanted to hear what we needed to do, come out and do, Ray will come out and do a complete evaluation, probably a whole day or two with each department, you know, not a day with each department, but probably a day with you guys, and then a second day with all the rest of the departments.
But I would act on this promptly for you. What's your deadline timeframe, just as soon as possible on that
As soon as
project?
possible, yeah, we're waiting on
Gotcha.
approvals now.
My Logic contract ends August 1st, so
Okay,
everything has to be in place before then.
okay.
Comfortable with us kind of re-engaging? Court?
I'm gonna make a motion to let them re-engage on
Well, actually,
You need a motion
we don't need a motion.
it. Don't need a motion.
Okay.
All we do, if you're willing, I'd like to see it, so we can prepare.
I'll readjust my schedule for this week and make that a priority to get started going, especially the quote for the sheriff's office.
Any other feedback? We'll come by.
Be prepared.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank y'all. Have a good rest of your week.
I'm not easy stuff.
All right, item number 13, discuss and approve ARPA funds repair temporary 283 affected by Sylvester County water grant.
What I'm asking for here today is some money to help pay for material. I'm gonna have to haul it 50 miles instead of 5 miles, and the difference is about over $10,000 difference to haul it.
Well, when we did this water line, I remember them coming in here wanting to use the gravel money to increase the thickness of the water line. You sat here and said that you would use the gravel out of your budget to do that if we would use that money to go with the thicker water line.
You're exactly right, but, I wasn't planning on hauling my gravel 50 miles away. That's a 100-mile round trip. Otherwise, I was planning on hauling it 5 miles.
The rest of us are hauling our material too. And I have a whole lot of more water lines coming through my precinct than any other water line.
Let me just tell you, I can haul material 5 miles. If y'all wanna approve to pay the bill, but you want me to haul it 100 miles, and it's okay. What's the problem?
So what's the problem with y'all helping haul material for the windmill projects that, I'm having to do when the wind company should be repairing them roads, not precinct 3?
All of us are in the same thing, every one of us, I guarantee
You're
you,
not getting
Preston's
the
got
point.
way more stuff like that.
I can haul 5 miles, and I don't have to ask for no money. But if I'm gonna haul 50 miles, I gotta have some money for fuel.
The same with me, if I have to haul material from windmills 70 miles or 80 miles.
I think we're missing.
I don't have to though. Y'all won't pay the bill for me to haul it 5 miles.
That's the point.
So I'm cut off. You two cut me off because, and I can haul it 5 miles and save the county a lot of money. And my whole precinct's right there around it. I want you to explain to me why I can't get material where I've been getting it for the last 20 years.
Can't talk about it, it's under investigation.
Follow me. So I need money to come from, somewhere to help fix this road, because I agree.
This is gonna have to come out of your budget, because,
You got less roads to take care of than any commissioner in this whole county. You've had it for 17 years.
That's enough, we're not talking about that, we're talking about the money.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the money
if
to
you
haul it.
have 50 miles less roads, you ought to be able to handle this little project, and that's what you said, you sat here and misled the court.
I didn't mislead the court in discussion. Go to the next one, Judge.
No, that's it, did you make a motion?
I made a motion.
I'll second it. Have a motion and a second to take the ARPA money and pay on the Sylvester McCauley water line. All in favor?
Is there anything in the future getting this straightened out on the, you said just under investigation?
Yeah, I don't know. It's news to me, so.
Under investigation by whom?
You'll find out when it comes out.
I'm not aware of any investigation.
I bet it won't take me too long to find out whether or not there's an open investigation.
We'll readdress this later on then, when we figure it out. I'll make a motion to table it.
Is there a reason we can't discuss why we can't save the county money? What does that have to do with any investigation that we're not hearing who's investigating?
Let me back up a minute, before we get too confused. Gordon made a motion, I second to pay for it. I need a vote on that.
Mine's no.
Mine's no.
The road needs to be fixed now. They're through with the water line. I need to fix that road. It's a main road. And I don't have a pit to haul out of local.
You getting it for Prairie County or?
No, I'd be looters. It's closer, better material.
May I inject something, Judge? I think we're losing sight of what this is about. Sylvester McCauley, the public who pays the taxes, needs the roads fixed.
There's a lot of roads needs fixed.
It's the same thing.
Same way with
Preston's got water lines.
There's a grant that we spent a lot of money on that need, I mean, I'm just,
That has
y'all
nothing
need
to do with the water.
to losing sight of what this is really about. It's not about egos, it's about fixing roads.
That's right, we got a whole bunch of them in precinct 3 need to be fixed.
I'm gonna make a motion. Third one is really good. It's for people who need to finish it up.
Thank you, motion carries. All right, last item on here is budget workshop. I think everybody, the commissioners have everything that they have copies.
Yes, sir, I provided them copies of everybody's budget requests and a copy of the budget.
I'd like to know how much money we were gonna take out of ARPA funds, I didn't catch that. They're having to make a motion, but I'm just throwing a number out there. What was the number?
$16,650.
15,000?
16,650.
And how many foot of road's that?
As much as it takes.
No, how long's the pipeline?
A mile.
1 mile, $16,000.
We're gonna take a small break. Everybody can go do whatever they need to do in about 10 minutes. We're gonna back to start with the budget. What do we have now? Yes, sir.
pick it up? That's the one that was wrong, sir.
Huh?
That's the one that's wrong too.
I know, but did you take it off my desk?
Yeah, I picked it up from there. She.
Please don't take anything off my desk.
I'm sorry. That's wrong.
Why don't you take it off? Still, why don't you take it off my desk?
I picked it up the.
Don't remove anything from this desk, ever.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, we're ready to start budget discussions. I'm gonna tell you up front right now what I've noticed, what's turned in. I've got a probate shortly, so I'm gonna leave it up to Gordon to close when y'all get through. We won't have any hard numbers till the end of July from the clerk, so we won't know what we're getting, but y'all are more than welcome to discuss anything you want. The only thing I want to bring to your attention right now that I noticed, Sheriff, on your budget increase, you left out, medical insurance, which is $126,000. It's not on the.
Yes, sir. I didn't know what that cost was gonna end up being, but yes.
So your increase is a little over 200,000, and you're asking, we need to add another 125,000 in there was left out. Carry on with wherever you all got to start, I'll leave when I have to. Sheriff, if you wanna begin?
Yes, sir. Basically, looking at the increase in expenses at the operational end of the, comes down to about $115,000, in operating the jail and operating patrol. Most of that, of course, is you all had to adjust cost of fuel, cost of food, cost of increase in electrical expenses. I don't see much getting around that, quite honestly. I have also asked for a pay increase, basically $4 an hour. That comes down to an additional cost of $155,000. The reason I'm asking for that pay increase cost is looking at the local market. Right now, Nolan County is paying $44,000 a year, basically $22 an hour. 30 counties paying $22 an hour, and Jones County is paying $20 an hour, and I'm paying $14.50 an hour. The city of Lacan pays $15 an hour for starting employees. Every time I lose an employee, it's $2,500 just for the testing and for the getting them in place. It doesn't include the overtime costs that it costs me for having that person out and filling a hole, because I have to fill those holes no matter what, 24/7. So like I said, right now, I'm down one in patrol. That's not so hard at this particular moment, but I'm gonna be down one in the jail, which I have to have additional costs come August 1st. I think the employees are basically well worth what would be, come down to about $4 to about $18 an hour pay increase.
Well, looking at yours, what bothers me a little bit, you've got a jail administrator at 32,000, increasing her to 41,600, which is more than elected official makes. And then below that, you also have, some overtime and holiday pay for her, which they don't get. Which you put in her overtime, she already got over 2,500 this year. That's gonna put her way down there. I don't know how you can justify that.
Jail administrators are hard to come by. I've got 2 people right now that are sergeants that train to be that, and certification is a lengthy process, and it's not easy, they're not easy to come by. And we're not even close to the market for what she's making. She's making less than what deputies are making right now.
I'm not arguing, I'm just throwing that out there for discussion, but, you know, got a sister sitting right here to my left, and here, how long you been here, Pat?
22, 23 years.
And you got one that's been there 5, and you want to pay them more money, I don't see how you can justify that.
That's just basically where the market where we're competing for employees.
Do you need stats to back up the pay increase, or do you need a number of calls, or? I mean, what do you need for us to come up with to justify getting a pay raise?
I mean, that's gonna be the commissioner's decision, but I don't see how in the world you can justify those pay raises. Regardless of what the market is. You can use that number anywhere, I'm sure Quick Supermarket's not paying what United's paying.
But this is the problem we have, is that we train these guys up and they're dual certified as 911 and, as a jailer. And once they get trained and get their certs, they move down to where they're making $18 an hour, or over to where they're making $22 an hour, or TDC takes them.
I'm not arguing with you, and I understand it, I'm just saying, I don't know where you think the money's gonna come from to do that.
Well, we're taking in inmates from, Tom Green County, we can take inmates from Taylor County.
I understand that, in next commissioner's court, I'm gonna have a little run-out sheet with you, I bet you it's costing us more to keep our employees than it is to outhouse.
No, it's not. No, sir.
You get your numbers, I'll get mine next month.
I have the numbers right here.
That or the other option is $2 an hour, it would cost $78,556 for a $2 an hour pay. I know we all, last time we started talking about some kind of pay increase for employees across the board. But that's what we're looking at for just the jail staff. I don't want anything for the patrol officers.
Sure. And I'm not arguing the point, I'm just trying to say the money's gotta come from somewhere.
Right.
And the problem is, when we start, which we've never done until last year, which I think was a mistake, but when you start moving things around, we used to go with a spread across the board percentage increase. And I've asked a time or two and don't get much response, I think that's where our longevity can offset some of that.
That would go long term. It would be motivational to employees I've had
Well,
here.
then you have something here to lose when you leave. Adjust it that way, but anyway, those are things for discussion, and I think Ms. Parks gave a 4%, or 4 through 10, is that right, Tina?
It's 3 through
3 through
10.
10. We ought to look at what it's gonna cost on the bottom line for increases. And I'm not against increase, I think we need some, we can't start giving a 30% here and a 4% here.
Yeah.
That's never gonna work.
I fully agree with that. Just let former commissioners of where we're at in the market, that I have to compete with. Let's face it, when you're making $14.50 an hour here and you can drive 15 miles, and I've already lost 2 employees, you go to Sweetwater and make 22. And it's costing me, $5,000 to $6,000 every time I lose an employee. Plus,
Well, I can understand that, cause our road hands definitely need to be making more than they are.
and I'll grant you, across the board from all county employees, but I'm just letting you know, these guys are 24/7, holidays, whatever, and nonetheless, you're making $14.50 an hour, and you can work in Rocan making $15 an hour as a city employee. Come on, that's piteous. So I grant you, you're looking at where's the money coming from, and we all realize the county employees need, and I'm asking for the high end. Yep, I sure am. I'm gonna come in here and tell you that I think my people are worth $4 an hour. There's an option for $2 an hour. But we need to do something for these employees that we can keep them.
Anything else on your Sheriff, you need to? Mr. Gass, I'd like to see that, the cost per employee
Yes, sir.
at some point.
Judge, that's just the cost of breakdown for the food. That's not to include the utilities, that's not to include the water. That's just how much we're gonna make a day off the inmates we take from Tom Green or Taylor County or somebody else.
And that's going at $40 a day, which most of them are going to 45. I didn't want to increase it this year since everybody's in their budget, and we pretty much want to stay with what we have, and talk about increase next year.
That's just the food cost.
Yes, sir, that's all because.
That's what I'm saying, you gotta take all these other employees, all that, if you want to treat that cost of what it's costing to 8,000 employees.
Yeah, I understand that, but we're gonna have the lights on over there anyways for our inmates, we're gonna have water on them for our inmates also, I understand that.
I agree, and I'm not arguing that point. Whatever that number falls out, it falls out. I'm saying this is a debt expense of $40 a day, or 45, whatever they go to.
40.
And they're gone, right? And you bring that back and you got all these people that are working there to maintain that deal. That's gotta go into what it's costing you to house them.
Well,
I'll have it for you on
Yeah,
this.
food's one thing,
Yes.
I thank you for that, but I'm just saying, you got a lot of other things if you wanna get down to a net cost, what it costs to house them.
We're still gonna be making money though. I'm pretty sure we are.
and at the minimum standards that we're at, we're not having to hire any additional people to bring in those inmates. That's not the way the jail works.
No, and I agree, and, I think you're still missing the point. I wanna know what it's costing us to house a inmate, period. Then you can compare it to $40 or $45 a day.
And for the commissioners to know that generally where I came in, y'all were running 7 inmates per daily. We're running about 12 right now, and it's gonna stay that way. Because you asked for increased enforcement, and that's what it costs. And so, to your point, Judge, yeah, it's costing more.
Yeah, but the more you get, the lower your cost is, so that's going against my argument. I wanna know what it costs per person.
Right.
I'll be by the end of the day.
All right, I'm gonna step out for a little bit, y'all can continue all you want. As long as you won't, Gordon, you have permission to close at whatever point you want to get to. Anybody else? Did you give those out? You have, Joy, can you give us a copy?
I got it.
You got copies? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Never mind, sorry.
When we're just talking about doing the budget, we got to go by the local government code, and so if they're gonna give, if y'all are gonna give raises, I'm just gonna throw this out here for the elected or whatever, we have to put a notice in the paper, so that's kind of why I did a calendar, so that, you know, that's kind of important that we need to get that done, if that's something that the court is gonna do.
Who's up next?
Is the sheriff through?
Are you through, Sheriff?
Guys, any questions on the expense or anything? I know it's quite, $115,000 big item expense, y'all understand, well, most of it's from the gas and things like that. And we can get a breakdown for you of what it costs per inmate today, so that'll help out in.
How many employees you got under you as a total in the jail and deputies?
Supposed to have 19. I'm running about 18 right now. And I will tell you, the budget does include one truck. I'd like to budget that pretty much every year. My truck's at 145,000 miles. And the check engine light's on 2 weeks out of 3. I don't have the money to fix it just yet. But that would be replaced that one.
With check engine light?
Yep. It's only for transmission, so when it drops out in the middle of the road,
airport and they'll give me a lift.
Call
Yeah,
you
sure, give me a lift.
Get you a ride home.
There you go.
Any questions, guys?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Who's up next?
The district attorney doesn't want any changes to his budget, just moved it, his budget's the same. Extra attorney, his budget, extra review.
You wanna do your proposal? Your budget proposal, or you wanna wait? We'll have to wait and see how much money's left to go on fuel and material.
But what you gotta fall into, then too, is if you're basing it off the county populations you just did, you're gonna get shot in there. It's not good. You just got some problem to do, it's just finding the higher people, but I'm telling you, I understand.
You want John Lee to do that?
Johnny Lou, is she here?
I just asked for a raise for myself and for Georgie, that's all.
You asked for a raise for Georgia? How much was that?
Like 5.2%.
You got it, you should have.
I'm gonna say, but all of us are, because they will feel it.
Yeah, they don't tell you the proposal.
It goes back to this, we're looking at a county that's on the so the numbers of the counties that have
This just breaks it down, percentage, straight across. Is that all you got, George? I mean, Johnny?
You can have it. Some of us, if I really love you, 3%.
Who's next?
Lee's not here. County attorney's not asking for
I'll be
anything.
honest with you, most stuff in Fisher County is a stepping stone for somebody to do the job also, but that hurts you.
Gina's not here.
She's asking for another part-time.
But they also have to do experience. Yeah, they just want to come closer to the population as basically.
Wait till she's here.
Okay. Treasurer, you next.
Yeah. I asked for an 8% based off of the price of gas and
But.
consumer price index right now is 8%. Price of inflation is 12%. I asked for an 8% raise for myself and my assistant. I also asked for a change to my travel to $3,500, I mean.
What are you averaging?
That's a $1,000 increase. I asked to decrease my supplies by 500 to cover part of that travel increase,
Where are you putting the jobs at?
and everything else to remain the same.
The 8% for both of you?
Yes.
You haven't.
And as elected officials, we haven't had a raise in 3 years.
Places, just to get candidates.
Year before last, they required to run right.
Year before last year, everybody got a raise.
I mean, there's a lot of things about it.
Yeah, I'm here on this for this will be 3 years.
I mean, I'm sure you can work out deals with the local newspaper to put it out, because there is actually a lot of people in communities that would be qualified.
Keep going.
But I mean, if, a lot of people know what to look at, but not everybody's on Facebook either.
You do your proposal?
Yes.
I mean,
Huh?
you can always
I was
outsource, and there's.
No, I know, I didn't do it. I know, I mean, I turned it in, but I didn't ask for anything. I didn't ask for raises because I've been doing it long enough to realize that until we get the taxes and we see what,
We don't know what we're gonna get.
we don't know,
You know what I'm
so
saying?
I'll wait to to see if there is any money left, as always. After everything that has to be paid is paid.
I'm leaving mine the same. Yeah, we figured it out.
I'm definitely gonna need some more gravel money, fuel money, and then another full-time hand. I'm gonna have to do the windmill roads and the oil field roads and the water lines again.
Anybody else have anything?
What did y'all say about the raise for the sheriff? I was here. What did y'all say about the raise for the sheriff's office?
We're not gonna decide any raises.
I know, but did y'all discuss it at all?
No.
I'm sorry? There's no discussion on it?
No.
Except what the judge wants? As far as, cause he asked where the money was coming from?
We don't even know how much tax money we're gonna get yet. We gotta wait till the money that comes in and then do we'll figure probably the proposed budget and see what the budget is now, see how much money's left.
When's the next budget meeting?
The next court meeting.
Next commissioner's court?
We'll have to decide on the raises then, because they'll have, if the elected officials get a raise, it has to be put in the paper, just reminding you guys, because there's so many dates that we have to do, that's why I did that on the calendar.
So what all do y'all need from us across the street to even look at a proposed raise? Besides what the judge asked for?
Pretty much, we just need to wait until we get. Sorry.
Have y'all turned anything in to Becky budget wise?
Yeah, they turned it
Mhm.
in. The proposed budget.
Y'all have a copy of it, you have a copy of it, yes, sir, you have a copy.
Okay.
We'll have to wait until everybody does their budget, and we'll go back through there and see if there's any money. I mean, cause.
Raises are last, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over, but raises, I'm sorry, y'all, raises are last. It sucks, but
So July the 25th is when the chief appraiser certifies the tax roll.
and we'll see how much money
We'll
we're
know
gonna get for
something
the
then,
year.
and August 8th will be, regular court and budget workshop. So that's, them 2 days might not want to forget then, you know.
That's it, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Ooh, I agree.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Motion carries.